It's coffee time, it's coffee time, it's the One Pot Chef drinking coffee in time. And that's still crap. Welcome to Coffee Time, the not-so-monthly chat show here on the One Pot Chef blog, where I answer questions sent in by you. Now, if you missed the announcement the other day, basically Coffee Time is no longer a monthly chat show. It is now going to be on twice a month. And the reason I'm doing it twice a month is because it's become so much more popular than I ever expected it to be. And I'm getting so many more questions that the videos are becoming unmanageably long. I don't want to be sitting here recording a Coffee Time for an hour and a half. It's too long. So from now on, it's going to be every 2 weeks, so fortnightly. So hopefully everyone will be happy with that. You should be getting twice as much coffee time, twice as often? I don't know. I didn't really think that one through, did I? Oh well. Alright, let's get on with the questions. But before I do, if you've got any questions and you would like them to be answered in the next edition of Coffee Time, simply leave them in the comments section below this video on YouTube. Right, get into the questions. First question comes from Ninja Naru to chat. If you had children, what would you name them? I don't know. I never really thought about it, because I never really thought about having kids, to be honest. Oh, I don't know. Probably, I mean, I don't know. I've never really thought about it, to be honest. It's never been a thing that's really come up with me, to be honest. I don't know. Tad and Jacinta. I have no idea. I'm just picking up random names now. Michelle Hunt. How long have you and your partner been together? My partner and I have been together for 9 years. We've been living together for 8. We've been together for 9. Oh, another one from Michelle. When is your birthday? My birthday is 25th of January. And you'll never get my date of birth. No, I'm old enough. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, 25th of January, although to be honest, I don't really celebrate my birthday that much. I've always seen it as a sort of a kids thing. You sort of celebrate kids' birthdays, but adults sort of gets a bit sort of meh. One more year gone, another year closer to the grave. Lucy Lou TV. Is there a place for politics and drama on YouTube, and what are your thoughts on the matter? I think there's always drama on YouTube, especially on Australian YouTube. There seems to always be a drama going on. But I think the one thing that makes YouTube great is that it's a one-stop shop for opinions on just about any subject you can think of. And there's always going to be a place for people sort of giving political commentary or whatever, but I think there needs to be a respect for everyone having a different opinion. You can't sort of come on and say, this is what I think about this, and anyone who disagrees with me can go to hell, because that sucks. Like, you've got to be accepting that other people have other opinions. That being said, there is a limit to that. I mean, you can't sort of go, I hate people with blue eyes, they should all be burnt to death. Like, that's like, hello? Like, excuse me? Like, with these eyes? I don't think so. But yeah, I have no idea where I'm going with this. Yeah, so I think there's probably room for it, although I could probably do with a little less drama on YouTube these days, but that's democracy. Lothandra. I hope I said that right. Lothandra. I love that. Have you ever been to Calgary, Alberta, Canada? If not, would you? I've never been to Canada. I can honestly say I don't know a hell of a lot about Canada, to be honest. I've always just thought of it as being sort of, you know, that thing up there above the US and full of maple trees and skiing or something. I'm not really sure. I don't really know much about Canada, so it would be nice to go there and find out a few less offensive cultural stereotypes about your people. So yeah, because like, yeah, I literally we don't sort of get like a lot of Canadian TV here, really, except for, I think, Kenny versus Spenny, and I'm not sure if that's the epitome of Canadian culture. But, yeah, so I would love to visit Canada. Cane Hunter. Are you physically attracted to Nico in any way? There seems to be tension. Oh, I'm not attracted to Nico, I'm just using him for sex. Next question. Oh, Lothandra, here we go again. I'm going to cop so much shit for that comment. Do you have a recipe for carrot cake that has pineapple, raisins and pecans in it? I don't have one exactly like that. I've got a basic carrot cake with a cream cheese frosting on it, and you could easily add in pineapples, raisins and pecans if you wanted to, whether you wanted to put it into the batter or actually into the icing on top to decorate. It's in the desserts playlist on my cooking channel, so go and check it out. I'm not a big fan of carrot cake, but that one I really enjoyed, so I'm sure you'll like that one, so feel free to make little adaptations to it and whatever you like. Beck's Chick. How did you become so awesome? I have no idea. Am I so awesome? I don't think I am that awesome, to be honest. I'm just me, just pretty little me. You know what, I am pretty damn awesome. Uh-oh, Pearly Pop and his million questions, or her million questions. I'm always meant to ask if you're a male or female. I really should check, actually. Open channel. Do they make videos? They make videos. Yee. And it doesn't show them at all, so okay. Okay, so Pearly Pop, I'm just going to assume you are a genderless person until I'm proven otherwise. I'm sure it hasn't been exactly an easy ride along the way from the point where you started your cooking channel on YouTube. What are the 3 things that you think are important factors for achieving your dreams and goals? I think... Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? I think when it comes to getting sort of reasonably successful on YouTube, I think there are many important factors. One is that you've got to remember that no one is an island to themselves. You can't just upload videos and forget about it and leave it there. You've actually got to become a part of the community. So you've got to respond to comments, you've got to be interactive. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about, is being interactive. And Hello Coffee Time is a good example of that. But you've got to really sort of put some work into it. And if you're looking to do it as a job or a career, you have to treat it like that. You can't treat it like a hobby. You've got to really work hard. You've got to dedicate yourself to it. And I think above all else, I think you've just got to have a passion for it. If you don't absolutely love what you're doing, you're never going to get anywhere with it. I mean, sort of, you've got to really love what you're doing. And I think that's probably the most important things for getting there. So, yeah. Pearly Pop again. Have you ever experienced something close to somewhat of a miracle? Ever experienced a miracle? I don't know. If they ever bring out low-fat Tim Tams, that'd be a goddamn miracle. Ooh, I'm offending the Christians now. Funny. Have you ever come across an act of kindness that really touched your heart? Was it kind of an act of kindness towards me that I've done, or just something I've witnessed? I could probably say, as one that I've witnessed, was a couple of years ago when in Australia there was these enormous bushfires and they were absolutely devastating. There were a lot of people killed, lots of people lost their homes, and it was absolutely astonishing to see how much the YouTube community came together to support the victims of the bushfire. They put up videos to encourage people to make donations to the appeal. They were donating their earnings from YouTube to the appeal. It was absolutely wonderful, and that was an absolutely beautiful act of kindness from the Australian YouTube community, and indeed the international community as well, because a lot of people from overseas also did that. Water. Pearly Pop again. Fans or air conditioning? Air conditioning. Oh, God. I love air conditioning. I absolutely adore air conditioning. I didn't have air conditioning at my last house, and when it got into summer, it was absolutely horrifying. You would just lie there at night, stinking heat, humidity, just wanting to die. Here I've got air conditioning. It's beautiful. I can just lie back and I love it. So yeah, definitely air conditioning. Although I would certainly say fans are a nice substitute, but air conditioning really beats it all. What is the one thing that would make you extremely happy if someone tells you it, such as you've got a hilarious sense of humour? I don't know, just any kind of compliment would make me happy, I think, because I think everyone likes to get complimented, and I would probably go with that. And people saying how pretty my hair is. Because I do have pretty hair. Um, Maggie12310. David, my question for you is, do you cook other YouTube cooks' recipes? I do actually, although I must admit, and I'll be honest, I don't watch as many YouTube cooking videos as I did in the past because I think it's like overload, like when you're making them and having to watch your own videos to make sure they look all right and everything like that. The last thing you want to do is watch more cooking videos later on, but I do still watch a few here and there. I know I made Nico's mum's rice pudding. It was a baked rice pudding, and it was almost like a... Oh, goodness, it had a lovely sort of caramelised thing on top. It was gorgeous. I made that after seeing his video, and it was so, so yummy. Loved it. Yeah, but I do occasionally, when there's something there sort of like that really sort of jumps out and goes, eat me, eat me. I was like, I absolutely do. So, yeah. Pearly Pop again. When you get mad about something, what do you usually do to calm yourself down? I'm not sure I do get mad very often, to be honest. I would say... I will be honest, it takes a lot to get me angry. I'm a fairly relaxed person, but then if I really do get angry and somebody's really sort of testing my patience, I find the best thing to do is to simply grab a fork and insert it into their nose until either they stop being annoying or they suffer irreparable brain damage. I find that works. No, I must admit, I don't get mad very often, but when I do, I tend to sort of go very quiet and go away and just sort of allow myself to sort of get back to normal, but I can't say it's a regular thing. Would you rather be on an island eating spaghetti all day, or be a spaghetti dreaming of going to an island? That is the most bizarre question I think I've ever been asked on Coffee Time. Would you rather be on an island eating spaghetti? I have no idea. I don't know if I'd want to be a spaghetti dreaming of going to an island, because, like, I don't know, being a sort of sentient, self-aware piece of pasta may not necessarily be the most life-affirming choice. That being said, sitting on an island eating spaghetti probably isn't so bad, so I could probably go for that one. Eighth question from Pearly Pop. Pencils or mechanical pencils? What's a mechanical pencil? I don't understand the question. What's a mechanical pencil? I don't know what that is. Must be something new. I don't know what that is. So I'll go for pencils. Okay, go for pencils. I'm probably just sounding totally dense there, but I'm not sure what that is. So, like, I mean, you know what? I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google it and see what a mechanical pencil is, because I don't know what that is. Images. Mechanical pencil. Oh, okie dokie. Oh, all right. Yeah, I know what those are. Sorry, I wasn't sure what that is. I don't even know what we call them. Yeah, I used to use those at school. They were a bastard because they kept breaking every 5 seconds. I used to hate those. So, yeah, regular pencil, I'll go for that one. I can't believe I didn't know what that was. Good mental block. Salty food or sugary food? That is a tough question. I don't know. I guess it depends on mood. I don't think I could choose one or the other, because, like, sometimes I'm in the mood for something sweet, sometimes I'm in the mood for something salty. I really don't know. Probably, if I had to choose, I'd probably say salty, because I find that I can't eat a lot of sugary stuff, like, all the time, because... obviously, but yeah, I get kind of sick of it after a while. It's sort of like, you sort of, I think everyone's sort of like, if you're going to sit there and eat nothing but sugar all day, you're going to get very sick of it very quickly, and bleh. So, like, at least there's a bit more variety with the salty stuff. Pearly Pop again. Have you ever experienced something scary as coming across a ghost, or have anyone near you experienced something like that? I've never seen a ghost. I think the only scary thing I've ever gone through, and it's not like a supernatural thing or anything, was that I used to work in a convenience store doing the night shift, and somebody held me up at gunpoint. And that was terrifying. That was a really terrifying experience, and it took me a long time to get over that. But yeah, that's probably the only real sort of scary thing that's ever happened to me. Let's have a look at. What's the weather like there, and what time did you get up today? This is from QNewen3862. I hope I said that right. Well, the weather's actually kind of sunny at the moment. It was really sort of overcast this morning and looked like it was going to bucket down with rain, but it never came to anything, and then suddenly it's all sort of sunny and warm. What time did I get up today? I think it was about 7-ish. Around about 7 o'clock this morning. I had to get up early because I had a couple of appointments in town today, so I had to go out and do that and come back and film a cooking video and do some editing. So I've been kind of busy all day today, actually. Where are we? Pearly Pop again. I find your accent so interesting and really an ear pleaser. Do you sometimes get fond of your own accent that you never stop talking? I don't really think anything of my accent. I don't even think of myself as having an accent, but it's just sort of, you know, me. But I'll tell you an accent that I love, and it's a recent discovery, and I'm going to get so belted for this comment, but oh well, that's democracy. As some of you know, I joined the Tastemade network recently, and I've had to do a lot of sort of conference calls and things with people over in the United States getting it all set up. And I was having a call with this lovely man, Jay from Tastemade, and we were talking about all sorts of different things, and one of the topics that came up was that I mentioned that I had recently done a recipe for Nutella cheesecake. And he's got this amazing Californian accent, and I bet he doesn't even think that his accent is that interesting, but to me it's hilarious and it's wonderful. I love it. It's so robust. And when I said Nutella cheesecake, his face sort of almost dropped. He goes, "Oh my God, Nutella cheesecake? That's awesome!" And and I just got, it was the most wonderful reaction to anything I've ever heard in my life. I loved it. And I love the way he says Nutella. Like Americans all say Nutella and I say Nutella. It's I don't know. I don't know why it makes me sort of hee, but it's funny and I love it. So I love you, Jay. Please don't have me killed. I know he's going to see this video. I'll never hear the end of it. Where are we next? Pearly Pop, have you ever heard of the game StarCraft? It's an awesome game, I'll tell you that. I have heard of StarCraft. I have never played it. I don't even know what it's about. I'm not really that up on games, and I've heard of StarCraft, but yeah, I couldn't tell you in a million years what the hell it's actually about or what you do in it. I'm assuming it's something to do with, I don't know, making decoupage art in space. I don't really know, sort of arts and craft in space. I'm not sure. I'll just assume that's that, because I assume that answer is a hell of a lot more entertaining than what it actually is about, so who knows. If you could go back in time to any era of your past, what would you do? For example, say something to someone or stop your past self from doing something, etc. I probably wouldn't do anything to stop myself from doing something, because every decision that I've made and every action that I've done in the past, whether it was a good or a bad decision, has brought me to where I am today and has made me the person that I am. And I'm pretty happy with who I am and how my life is at the moment. So I wouldn't want to make any major alterations and screw that up. But if I could go back into any part of my past, I would love to go back to my early 20s and go back to the days when I was running the nightclub, because it was just such a fun time. It was hanging out with my friends on a Saturday night and dancing to trashy music and drinking horrible cocktails. It was just fun, and I loved that, and I would love to go back and do that. And those days are so far behind me, it's not funny now, but I would definitely love to do that again. How do you think two people have... Oh, how long do you think two people have got to know each other before they can actually proceed to the next stage of being in a relationship? I'm not sure if I can answer that. I guess it depends on the two people. I mean, it just depends, because it all depends on how you feel about each other and your circumstances and whether or not you feel it's right, because you know it feels right. You'll feel it's sort of right if the time is right. So I don't think there's any particular time frame. That being said, if you were sticking around for 20 years or so hoping that something was going to develop into a relationship, I'd call you a doormat and maybe you should move on, but you never know. I mean, who can say? Pearly Pop. Good God, you've done a lot of questions this month. What do you think is actually worth doing if you were going to be put into jail anyway? I'd really prefer not to go to jail, but if I was being forced into jail, I would, I don't know, run naked down the street with jelly all over me. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, why am I being just arbitrarily thrown in jail? Did I commit some crime? If so, give me context. I don't know. Yeah, well, actually, I probably wouldn't mind going to jail for a while. I mean, just think of it. It would be like a holiday camp for me. I mean, like, I can have other people cook for me. I can lie back and, I don't know, read a book or something and don't have to worry about sort of anything too major going on. I could just sit back and relax for a few years. Yeah, you know what? Sign me up. I could do with a break. Only I could compare prison to a holiday camp. Holiday camp run by Pol Pot, perhaps. Let's move on. Jack Wilkins. Let's have a look at. My question for this month, newspapers or magazines? Probably magazines. I do read the newspapers occasionally, but I find that, and maybe it's just an Australian thing, but the Australian media is garbage. Like, it's so, like, just poorly put together, some of the news reports, whether it's television or newspapers or whatever, or online resources, because everyone is so desperate to try and get the story first that they're not doing proper research, so you end up getting a half-assed story that may not even be correct, and then you have to sift through all the corrections and retractions later on that they publish in some tiny little corner that you'll never read. So I prefer magazines. There's one particular magazine in Australia called The Week, which is wonderful, which has all of the best, I think it's in the US and the UK as well, but the Australian version of it has all the best sort of articles from newspapers and magazines from both here and overseas, and it's a great read. It's properly researched and everything, so you've got like sort of opinions from all sides, and it's really great read. So yeah, magazines. Pearly Pop, what is your favourite fruit and vegetable? Don't say I don't know. Don't tell me to say I don't know. I'll say I don't know if I don't know. I don't know. My brain hurts. What was the question again? What is your favourite fruit and vegetable? I would probably say, for favourite fruit, I would probably say banana, just as an everyday sort of fruit. Although I do like, and it doesn't come into season very often, and I don't get to have it because it's very expensive, but I'll have it occasionally, is rambutans. Rambutans, I believe they're Indonesian, and it's like almost like a lychee. It's like a little round red fruit with little red hairs coming off it, like little spikes. And you break open the skin and you've got this little white fruit inside with a stone in it. And the fruit itself, the flesh, is very sort of soft and sweet. It's like a cross between a grape and a pear. It's absolutely delicious. But unfortunately, don't get them very often because when they are in season, they're very expensive. But I will treat myself occasionally. As for vegetable, I'm pretty easy. I mean, carrots, potatoes, peas, carrot, corn. I mean, I don't know. I like all sorts of vegetables. I don't like them all the time, so I don't know. I'd probably say potatoes because you can do so many different things with them. I mean, like, that would be my favourite. Is that a vegetable or is that a fruit as well? I know tomatoes are fruits. I don't know. Probably tomato, and I'll say it's a vegetable even though everyone will go, no, it's actually a fruit. Because I just like to annoy pedantic wankers. Pearly Pop, would you rather be born with an elephant trunk or a giraffe neck? I think I'm already elephant enough as it is without actually having to go to the extent of having the trunk, so I'll go for the giraffe neck, although I am ridiculously tall already. I think maybe having the long neck would sort of even it out a bit. Yeah, so I'll go for the giraffe neck. Stacey Rapana 1. I would like to know what is a quick and easy dessert to make without baking. I don't have my oven. I don't like my oven. It's not good and would like an idea and if possible recipe. Thanks. I've got dozens of non-baking desserts. Go and check out the desserts playlist on my cooking channel. I do no-bake cheesecakes. I've got lots of slices that you can do that are non-bake. Coconut ice is great and there's no baking in that at all. Yeah, so go and have an explore. There's quite a few of them there. I'm sure you'll find something you'll like. Let's have a look at what's next. Okay, Amy Agur. Are you a Mac or PC user? And what did you like most about your trip to Perth? Okay, I'm a Mac user. I've been using Mac for probably about 2 or 3 years now. I was a PC user before that, but I kind of just grew tired of the constant crashing and problems that I was having with them. And I don't even remember actually going out and thinking I'm going to get a Mac. It was just that I went to the local computer store and found myself having a fiddle with one of the display models of the Macs and was just so impressed at how easy it was to use. And I loved the iMovie video editing software, and I wanted to sort of try and get something a bit better than Windows Movie Maker, which was what I was using to make my videos before that. And I've never looked back. It's been the best decision I ever made was going to Mac, especially for video editing and things like that. It just makes it 1,000 times easier. What did I like most about my trip to Perth? Probably just the fact that I got to hang out with my friend Nico. Because we live on opposite sides of the country, we don't get to see each other in person very often. So it was a great opportunity to catch up with a mate and just sort of, cooking in his kitchen and sitting around talking crap and just having a bit of fun over the weekend. It was great. It was a great time and I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, so that was probably my favourite part. That and going to the spud shed. I mean, seriously, that is pretty great stuff. I mean, it's like it's a shed full of spuds. No one outside of Perth will know what that means. Anyway, Natalie Gonzalez 1201. My question is, can you please try Takis? They're well known in America. I have never heard of a Taki. I don't know what a Taki is. Might Google that one. Should keep Google open on standby when I record these videos, I swear. What is a Taki? Taki. I'm getting pictures of ninjas. Okay, or Takis. Let's try that. Takis. Oh, okay, here we go. Takis. Fuego. They look like chips, I think, or little... Actually, they're like little straws. I've never seen anything like that before. I wouldn't mind trying that one. Interesting. All sorts of different flavours. Okay, well, I probably would try that. It's just a matter of actually getting some, so I would probably try that. Emu Unlim. If you could ever become a recipe, what would the meal be called and what ingredients would you include? Good grief. Sort of reminds me of that old thing when somebody once said you are what you eat, and I said I was a large vegetarian tart, but and I blatantly ripped that off. Absolutely fabulous, and I'm quite proud of that one. I have no idea. I don't know. Probably something rich that's bad for your teeth. That's probably would sort of suit me down to a T. Big World Famous. Oh, you've got a couple of questions. Okay. What is your favourite beer? What is your favourite beer and how many ties do you own? I don't really drink beer. I will openly, honestly say I don't really like the taste of it that much. I will drink beer if it's offered to me, but it's not my first choice of alcoholic beverage. As for how many ties, I can proudly say I actually do not own a tie anymore. I used to wear them every single day of my life, and I always hated the fact that I would get up in the morning and the first thing I would do is put a noose around my neck. So I proudly do not wear ties. I hate ties. I think they're worthless and completely unnecessary. They serve no purpose whatsoever. Back in the day when they first sort of came into usage, the reason they were there was it was like basically carrying around a napkin that you could wipe your mouth with after meals. And ever since I learned about that, that's all I see ties as being weird, dangling, decorative napkins. It just looks weird. So I don't own them, and I'm quite happy with that because I always hated having them around my neck. So no ties for me. What's the bet I'm going to get like 1,000 ties in the mail just from people wanting to be a smartass. Brad knows all. What other cooking shows on YouTube do you follow? And I've noticed that the leading shows often seem to borrow ideas from each other on food, ingredients, or the like. Is it intentional or more unconscious? Okay, well, first question is, I do follow several cooking shows on YouTube. I mean, obviously, I follow my friend Nico and his channels. Cooking with Karma, my good friend Anna. Carl from Aussie Griller. Oh, goodness, I don't know. There's so many different cooking shows. I would probably also say, let's see, Average Betty from the US. She's got a great sort of sense of humour. I mentioned her in the last video, and the Viddle vlog. I don't know, there's so many of them out there, so I could sit here for a fortnight telling you about all the different cooking shows that are out there. As for sort of doing similar things to each other, it's usually fairly unintentional. I know, in particular, the people that I'm close with who do cooking channels on YouTube, we tend to sort of talk to each other and let each other know what we're planning to do, upcoming videos and whatnot, so we don't sort of cross paths too much. But usually, more often than not, it's totally unintentional if people do similar things or use similar ideas or whatever. It's very rare that it's done maliciously or on purpose. That being said, it has happened quite a bit. There are a few people out there who sort of scour Facebook and Twitter for hints of what people might be doing in the future so they can get in there and do a video first, and I think that's just kind of sad. But for the most part, it's usually just we sort of keep in touch and sort of say, yep, this is what I'm doing next week, and blah, 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 and they go, okay, cool, but I'm not doing anything like that, so that's fine. So, yeah. Next question from I Don't Know Low. How did you meet your partner? We met in a chat room years ago on the internet. We became good friends, and we were friends for, oh goodness, about a year or so before we actually went to a sort of relationship type thing. Yeah, so that's roughly how we met. Oh, and were you the one chasing your boyfriend or your boyfriend chasing you? Have a nice day, enjoy your show. I don't think either of us did much chasing, to be honest. I think we were just we were two mates that sort of started to develop feelings for each other, and that's when went from there. So I don't know if there was any particular chasing on anyone's part. At least I don't remember that. I think we're probably too big to chase anything. We just sit back and wait for it to come to us. Killing 4B flowers. Is there anything that you can't cook but wish you could? Not really. The only major one was scones up until recently, until I found my sort of interesting shortcut version that actually is guaranteed to work every time, and I did that as a video. But yeah, that was the only major one I had problems with, because my scones used to always come out like rock solid boulders. They were awful. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of things out there that I can't cook, but I've just never tried, so I don't know. Oh, another one from you. Do you like Gordon Ramsay? I did, but I just can't get into him anymore. I just find him irritating these days. I think the whole sort of angry chef yelling at people, swearing and carrying on is just a bit overdone, and it's kind of... It was interesting at first, but eventually it's sort of going, oh, and he's yelling at them again. Oh, okay, whatever. Like, it needs to sort of concentrate more on the food than sort of throwing things at people and screaming and carrying on. Why aren't you on MasterChef? Apply. I don't watch MasterChef, and as far as I understand, I wouldn't be sort of able to go on MasterChef if I wanted to, because I think that if you actually do cooking professionally, which I do, you're not actually eligible to do it. I think there are sort of certain rules. I've never really looked into it, but as far as I know, that was the rule. But I don't have much interest in going on to a reality show like that. I'm quite happy with what I'm doing on YouTube. So, and as I say, I don't really watch MasterChef, so it doesn't really appeal. THRN for kids. Hey David, how long have you been making YouTube videos for? And say toy boat 10 times as fast as you can into the camera. I feel badness coming on. Alright, toy boat. Toy boat, 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 toy boat. Toy boat, toy boat. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Why do I always fall for this shit? What was the other question? How long have you been making YouTube videos for? Coming up in early November, I will have been making YouTube videos for 5 years. My God, that's a long time. I've just sort of figured that out. Because I think it was like the 1st of November in 2007 is when I started. So, yeah, nearly 5 years. God, it's a long time. James Rings blog. Hey David, you coming to the next Melbourne YouTube gathering? I don't know. When is the next YouTube gathering in Melbourne? I've never actually been to Melbourne, so I really probably should go down there at some point. It would be nice to go and see it, and I'd love to go and see all those sort of patisseries on, I think it's Collins Street, that has all the lovely little French patisseries and all the stuff that you walk past and gain 4 kilos just by looking at the stuff in the window. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to Melbourne. Yeah, possibly. I think it's definitely a maybe. I would put myself down as a definite hard maybe. M2990. If you ever came to the UK, what cities would you like to visit? Also, what British food do you like? I haven't been to the UK since the very early 90s, like 1990, 1991 maybe. I would love to go back and visit my grandmother's village where she lived. It was a little town called Milverton in Somerset, and it's like very little sort of village with little church and the little pub and everything like that, and little sort of thing of shops. But it was a beautiful sort of country village, and I would love to go back there. I would also love to actually go to London, because I never really got to see London the last time I was over there. I'd love to go and have a look around and, you know, Big Ben and all the touristy crap, but I'd just love to go there. As for British food, I don't know, there's so many different things. I love British sort of, the heartiness of British food, especially the desserts and things like that. Like, when you think about like summer puddings and bread and butter pudding and all that sort of stuff, all those sort of things that are sort of really heavy sort of meals, but they are really, really yummy. So I'd love to go over there and have a bit of a British tour of food, so that would be nice. James on Wilts, or Jameson Wilts. Have you ever thought about redoing more of your videos now that you have a better kitchen and camera? I have actually done a few remakes of my early videos, and I haven't planned on doing any further ones for the moment, but I have done quite a few of them recently, and very happy with the results of remaking them, make them sort of look better and actually be able to see the food, like that's helpful. So there's probably more of them coming in the future. I haven't really thought about it for the moment. Do your fans send you any cookery equipment-based gifts? Not really, although somebody did once. This lovely lady from the UK sent me a set of Nigella Lawson's melamine measuring spoons. You probably, if you've watched my cooking videos, you would have seen them, the red spoons, like the red plastic-looking spoons. I've done so many videos using those because I love those spoons. They're in my drawer the whole time. I always use them, but yeah, I don't get a lot of cooking equipment type stuff. I think most people just send me chocolate bars these days. In fact, I got an enormous box from this lovely lady, Sarah, from the US, who sent an email to me saying she was going to send me a few things, and when I got this box at the post office, it was enormous. So I've got a lot of American chocolates and snacks and things to make videos with, so it'll take me a while to go through them. So you'll see some of those soon. Not really a question, but have you thought about putting up a world map on the wall behind you and mapping the global diversity of your fans? Would be pretty cool to see how far your videos reach. I can do that online, because YouTube Analytics will actually show how many people watch my channel or watch individual videos and where they come from, like which countries, and it is very amazing just how diverse my audience is. Like, there's from everywhere. I don't think there's a country on earth that there are sort of one-pot chef people lurking about. Yeah, so I do actually go and check that out occasionally just to sort of see where people are from and where they sort of live, and it's amazing sort of the reach that YouTube has these days. Where did you get your Choco mug from? Does it have a TU logo on the bottom? I don't know. I bought it from Kmart. It was like if you mean the one that's sort of the pink sort of mug with the chocolate thing on it. Yeah, I got it from Kmart. It was and it had a little whisk for whisking hot chocolate, but I don't know what logo it has on the bottom. I have to go all the way to the kitchen to check, and I can't be bothered. Yeah, but it was just a cheapo mug. I think it cost like $5. It wasn't anything terribly expensive. Another one from Mr. or Ms. Wiltz. Is there a piece of cooking equipment or gadgetry that you would consider getting, i.e. ice cream maker, juicer? I'm always buying crap for the kitchen. It's a sickness. It really is. I mean, I went out the other day to go and buy some plastic freezer containers, like some Tupperware type things. I bought them, but then I also came back with a ceramic griddle pan, and I was just like going, why am I buying this? I don't need this. But sort of, I'm constantly coming back with gadgets and gizmos and electric things and things that whiz, and I try to avoid it. I really do. I need to go into Kitchen Appliances Anonymous, I think, because I'm constantly buying crap for my kitchen. So, as for an ice cream maker, I had one once and chucked it out. It was garbage. And a juicer, again, I had the philosophy I never use anything that sort of takes more time to wash up than it does to actually do the job, because I hate that. So juicers are notorious for that. Can you do a Scottish accent? I did that in the last video. I'm not doing that again. I'm already getting in trouble with the Scottish people, and my mother will come back from the grave and destroy me if I keep doing that. What is your favourite Doctor Who episode from the new series? Russell T Davies or Stephen Moffat? As for episodes, oh gee, I don't know. I liked some of the early 10th Doctor stories, like The Girl in the Fireplace. That was a really lovely story. The Army of Ghosts, the two-parter at the end of the season 2 was good. I can't say I'm a big fan of Stephen Moffat as executive producer. He's a great writer, but ever since he took over as the showrunner, I'm just not that fussed on some of the stuff that they've done in the show. I much preferred a lot of the Russell T Davies stuff, so maybe it's just me. I don't know. But, yeah, so I'd probably go for good old Russ. Miss One Yeah. Have you ever gone to Bondi Beach to check out the views, i.e. the hot lifeguards? I have never been to Bondi Beach. I can honestly say I have never been to Bondi Beach. I'm not a beach person, to be honest. I've got very fair skin, and so when I go outside, I turn into a lobster in about 3 seconds flat. So I don't get a huge amount of fun of going to the beach, so I tend not to go there. Mega Changara. I hope I said that right. I asked you about L&P in your last video. It stands for Lemon and Pyroa and is a classic New Zealand soft drink. It may be stocked in Kiwi stores in Oz. If you drink fizzy drink, it is definitely worth trying. My cousin from Perth became addicted. Also, how tall are you? It's funny you mentioned that. L&P, I actually saw it at the supermarket the other day, and it was in all places, it was in the ethnic foods aisle. I thought that was funny, because it comes from New Zealand. I wouldn't have called that ethnic, but alright. I was tempted to actually buy it until I saw it was like $5 a bottle, and I was like going, you know what, I'm just not that curious, but if you reckon it's good, I might go out and buy a bottle just to see what it's like. As for how tall I am, I'm about 6'6" last time I measured. So I'm a big boy. I think that's 190-something centimetres in old money or new money or whatever the hell they call it. Jill M. DeJesus, hello again. Did you enjoy your birthdays as a child? How about now that you're an adult? I think all kids enjoy their birthdays. I think I said this before, I personally think birthdays are sort of a child type thing, like sort of Christmas and stuff. It's for kids more than anything else. And as an adult, I don't generally celebrate my birthday, so sort of, if someone sort of says happy birthday, so be it, but like I'm not going to sort of go crying into my guacamole if people don't sort of come around with 1,000 presents and an instant surprise party, I don't care. Like, I'm old enough, that's good enough for me. I'm old enough to vote, drive, drink, and a few other things, and that's pretty much enough for me. There's no other milestones to get to, except perhaps the one they put on top of my grave. So, so I'm pretty happy. Last question from THRN for Kids. When you go to LA, are you going to meet up with your fans, and what is your favourite sport? I don't really follow much sports, although I do watch the football now and again, but I can't say I'm not a big sporty person. As for LA, I'd like to do a fan meetup type thing in LA, if possible. It just depends on the schedule, because I haven't actually got all of those details sorted out yet as to when I'm going to LA. But when I have that sorted out, I should know roughly how long I'm going to be over in LA. I'm hoping to be over there for a few weeks. So there should hopefully be time to meet up at some point to say hello to everybody. But yeah, I'll let you guys know when that happens. Alright guys, we've come to the end of coffee time. It's been a remarkably brief episode of 46 minutes or so I'm quite happy with that. Alright, so as usual, if you've got more questions for next time, leave them in the comment section below here on YouTube. And until then, stay safe, keep out of trouble, and I'll talk to you later.